even though roses give people more guff than any other plant we sell, roses also happen to be one of the most popular things, because there's really nothing quite like a really good smelling, really beautiful rose. But if you just cut through all of this myriad of professionalism and get down to the basics, it becomes easy. And I'll tell you what we do here, and we only grow 25,000 roses a year. When we get our roses in the spring, we get them right about January, and we absolutely slaughter them. We cut them way, way, way back. And then we put them in perfect soil. Like she talked about being well drained, it's well drained soil. And then we fertilize the heck out of them. We use a high phosphorus based fertilizer in the early going, and it pops out a bunch of roots. And then throughout the year, we just fertilize with something that has lots of nitrogen in it. And if you want to get down to the fine strokes, any of these products work. But what usually happens to our customers is they don't do anything. And me, I don't care what you use. Find the cheapest stuff and use it. Roses don't care either. They just want nitrogen. And so if you put some fertilizer on them, organic fertilizers help develop your soil so you use less fertilizer later. Chemical fertilizers, like ammonium phosphate or whatever you want to use, they work fast. Organic fertilizers, like the fish emulsion and the other things, they work slower, but they last longer. And they make better soil chemistry. So if you've ever noticed when you get a little fresh rain, how your plants all perk up, well, that's because of two things. One, the available nitrogen from the rain comes right straight in, but mostly it's washing some of that salt out just temporarily. So you can counteract that by fertilizing and growing your way through it. But the big thing that people can't bring themselves to do is prune a rose as far as you need to prune it. So I'm going to cut up this beautiful little rose tree right here, rose bush, the way I would if I was growing it in the spring. After these flowers come out like that, then they start to die over and get dead. And what comes out behind that is a rose hip. And you've used rose hips in your household, most of you, or in one of those foo-foo baskets. What are they called? And you just head those back in the early going and get rid of them. Because when the roses are blooming, what they're really trying to do is reproduce. And so when they finally get to the rose hip stage, they put all their energy into the rose hip and they stop. They think, we made it, man, we're going to sow some seed. And so if you cut the rose hips off, they'll continue to bloom again. What we do here is about 4 times a year, each group of roses gets pruned back to about 16 inches. And so in this particular rose, after this had bloomed out, we would have taken it all the way back to there. And we would have taken that one all the way back to there. We would have got rid of all the rose hips, just like that. And then we would have gone inside and maybe thinned it out just a tiny bit here and there. We got rid of some of these smaller little branches just to give it some more air. When we finish that, then we would immediately spray it with one of these fungicides. Doesn't matter which one really, or use one of these triple hitter chemicals, but for the most part, some little kind of fungicide. And immediately after that, fertilize it. You can do all that in one setting, in 1 hour. You could be done with your whole rose garden. If you do that 4 times a year, you'll always have beautiful roses, right up to Christmas Day. Now, once you get ready to watch the parade for the Rose Bowl, it's time to be a little more serious about these roses. Because right about Christmas, or just after, is when you need to prune them back for their annual slaughter. And so you really need to be a butcher. So you take something like this iceberg rose, which is really one of the most disease resistant and so on, lots of branches, and we cut them back then to 12 inches. And that's what nobody can get themselves to do. But if you do it, you know, it's the tough love thing for roses. If you do it, they're going to be so much better, and they're going to come out with lots of flowers. And so you cut them way back. Bang, 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 bang. It might hurt the first few times, but after you see how successful it is, you're going to want to do it every January. And as a side note, you do the same thing with your fruit trees at the same time. So then after you've cut them way back like that, you want to get inside and you want to open them up. So just like a vase, like a catcher's glove. You want to get some branches going to the outside, and we want to get the open middle. The reason you want the open middle is you need all that air. You need to be able to have some good airflow through there, and that will set the tone for them not to get funguses all spring and all summer. Here, the May Gray and the June Gloom are the things that kick the roses' bottoms. And so during the spring, when we get the May Gray and the June Gloom, that's the time you use that fungicide. But if you do the cut back, spray with a fungicide and fertilize, you're going to have great roses.